Starting a YouTube channel gives you an opportunity to be able to tap into the emerging opportunities across the creator economy. And there are quite a number of other benefits and advantages that you can get when you start your own YouTube channel. And to be able to be successful, you are going to need resources that include reading books that relate to YouTube content creation. And you need to be able to understand how you can approach them so that reading those books becomes easy for you, and it becomes easier for you to actually consume the content that is written. And that's why I want you to give me the next couple of minutes as I share with you 5 ways that would make reading YouTube books or books about YouTube content creation actually easy, pretty simple, and also enjoyable. The first way to make reading YouTube books very easy for you is to be able to pick books that are beginner friendly. And this is especially true if you're a beginner when it comes to starting or building your YouTube channel. You do not want to read books that are advanced, books that explain deeper concepts or deeper theories. You want to be able to pick a book that is beginner friendly, a book that speaks a language that you can be able to understand, a book that explains the entire process of creating content on YouTube in an easier and simpler way. You want to be able to consume that content in a way that you can understand it. And this can only happen if you pick a book that is at the same level that you are in. So when you are thinking of starting a YouTube channel, or when you are thinking of getting or buying books that relate to YouTube content creation, I would actually recommend that you focus on beginner-friendly books, books that target people who are starting, and even books that are introducing you to the entire concept of building a YouTube channel and creating content on YouTube. Reading beginner-friendly YouTube books actually gives you an opportunity to be able to understand the basics of YouTube. You want to be able to learn how to pick a YouTube niche, how YouTube SEO works, how you can be able to make money on YouTube. You do not want to actually dive deep into concepts or ideas that would make you get confused. So if you want to actually enjoy or make it very easy for you to read YouTube books or books related to YouTube content creation, I would recommend you focus on getting or buying beginner-friendly YouTube books. The second way that makes reading YouTube books actually easy is to be able to focus on books that deal with actionable insights and not focusing on theory. And this is a very important point because there are a lot of books and a lot of people who talk good game, but they talk of things that probably are very difficult to implement. You want to be able to get YouTube books from people who have actually implemented what it is that they are talking about. You want to be able to pick actionable insights, be able to take things that you can apply on your YouTube channel. That when they explain an idea, a concept, or a certain way of doing things on YouTube, you can be able to pick that thing and apply it on your YouTube channel. Reading about the theory of YouTube is good. I'm not saying that you ignore the whole concept of YouTube or reading books that explain the theory of YouTube or the various concepts when it comes to YouTube content creation. What I'm trying to say here is that you should focus more on getting books that share or give you practical insights. For example, while it is good to learn about the theory of AdSense or how YouTube monetization works, it might be better for you if you can be able to pick or get practical insights on how you can apply YouTube monetization on your YouTube channel, how you can be able to make money with your YouTube channel and build it into a business. So what I want you to do in terms of picking or getting much value from the books that you want to read when it comes to YouTube content creation is to focus more with practical application and move away from just theory. Because when you do that, you're going to move away from just being a passive reader of YouTube books to actually someone who is taking notes, because most books that actually are practical are going to also give you exercises to do, tips to implement, and frameworks that you can use when it comes to starting or building your YouTube channel into an income generating asset. The third way to make reading YouTube books actually easy is for you to read them in small and consistent chunks. It's actually very easy for you to be tempted to sit down and actually read an entire YouTube book. This is something that a lot of people do, and if you ask me, it is a mistake, because if you just sit down for an hour and try to consume everything that is in that particular book, you're actually not going to get much value from that. Instead, I would recommend that you actually consider reading the book or the YouTube book in smaller chunks. Probably you can structure it into pages, or you can structure it into chapters. And if chapters are even huge or big, you can even take it down and read them in smaller chunks, smaller sections. This allows you to be able to actually understand what that particular section or that particular page or chapter is talking about. And even better, you can actually read that particular section and implement it. You can try to do or take action based on what you have learned and test whether it works on your YouTube channel. And you might wonder why this is very important. And the idea here is that you want to avoid being overwhelmed. You want to be able to take steady progress, to make small, consistent steps towards reading and finishing the YouTube book that you are reading. And this is the same approach that successful YouTube content creators take when it comes to creating the content they publish on their channels. They do not just sit down and create an entire library of their YouTube channel in one go. They do it in small steps. They create probably a video every week, 2 videos a week, 3 videos a week, and they do it consistently for a long period of time. I would want you to also think of the same approach when it comes to reading your YouTube books or books that relate to YouTube content creation. Structure it in a smaller, consistent chunks that you can be able to consume and understand, and more importantly, be able to implement the lessons that you have picked in your own YouTube journey. And this point actually leads us to the fourth way that makes reading YouTube books actually easy, that you need to pair what you are reading with real-world practice. And what this means is that just reading YouTube books is not going to make you successful on YouTube. You need to apply what you are actually learning from those YouTube books. And this is where the rubber meets the road, so to say. You actually need to be able to read something and then apply it in the real world. And what this means is that you actually need to start a YouTube channel if you have not started one, because what you are reading can only be implemented on your or in your own YouTube channel. And I want to share with you an idea of how probably this would work. If you read something about picking a niche, it may make a lot of sense for you to sit down and actually write down ideas of the possible YouTube niches that you'd want to pursue. If you read something to do with titles or video titles, it may make a little bit more sense for you if you can be able to sit down and write 10 or 20 video titles that you can actually use and try to create content for. If you actually read about how to make money on YouTube, it might make more sense for you to actually look at the various ways that you can make money on YouTube. Do more research on those particular ways. For example, you can read on how to actually create a digital product. You can actually read more on how to actually implement affiliate marketing on your YouTube channel. When you approach reading YouTube books in this way, you're actually going to see the things that you're studying, the concept that you're learning, actually coming alive. It is like a case of when you read a cooking book as you actually cook the dish. It is very practical. You can be able to implement what you are actually reading in real life situation. And this would be the best way for you to actually ensure that reading YouTube books is easy for you and it derives a great deal of value to your YouTube journey or YouTube business. The fifth way to make reading YouTube books actually easy is to use them as guides and not as the final word. One of the things about YouTube is that things change quite a lot, and what you read in books today might not probably be making a lot of sense 5 or 10 years from now. So what you want to do with reading YouTube books or books about YouTube content creation is to use them as guides. Let them provide you with principles, concepts, and ideas that work on YouTube, but at the same time, you need to use them as supplements to other resources that you can find online. The idea here is that you should let those YouTube books that you are reading to provide you with a structure and a roadmap when it comes to building your YouTube channel or turning your YouTube channel into an income-generating online business. However, you also need to be practical in a sense that you do not just follow them as the rule. You want to be looking at what is going on in the market and actually changing or pivoting as you go along and as you build your YouTube business. A lot of things change. For example, YouTube algorithm is going to change many times within a couple of years or even within a year. And what you might have read in one book at one point may not make a lot of sense in another time. What this means is that you cannot be dogmatic about the YouTube books that you are reading. You want them to provide you with principles and structure, but also be flexible enough to be able to apply what you are seeing in the market on your YouTube channel or when it comes to your YouTube business. This is where actually being practical comes into place. You want to have all the resources that can guide you or can help you to build a successful YouTube channel. And one of the things that you're going to learn very quickly is that all those resources are not important if you do not take the most important action. And that is starting a YouTube channel and actually recording videos. If you ask me, taking action when it comes to recording your YouTube videos is probably the most important thing that you can do, and that will make a whole lot of difference when it comes to building your YouTube channel and turning it into an asset that can provide you with time, location, and financial freedom. When you think about it, reading YouTube content books can actually be very intimidating. But after realizing that there is a way that you can be able to do it that would actually make reading those books actually easy, it becomes something that you can look forward to, something that is simple and that you can enjoy. And if you have enjoyed watching this particular video, I want you to watch the video on your screen right now. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not, and I'm going to see you in my future videos.